Over 74% of Indian Railways' revenue comes from its freight operations. It is the backbone of the railways and also supports passenger operations. So the health of the railways depends a lot on how its freight service is performing, and it is doing really well. In the last 2 years, railways freight loading has been impressive. Despite the pandemic, the freight loading in FY21 exceeded that of FY20. Indian Railways ferried 1,418 million tons of freight in FY22, a jump of 15% over the previous fiscal's 1,233 million tons. Railways had recorded 25 straight months of best ever monthly freight loading till September this year. The cumulative freight loading by Indian Railways during the April to September period of current fiscal stood at 736.68 million tons, as against 668.86 million tons achieved in the same period of FY22, representing a growth of 10.14%. And the cumulative earnings from freight stood at 1.43 trillion rupees during fiscal 2022. The annual increment of over 180 million tons was also the highest recorded in a single year. The previous best incremental loading in absolute terms was 66.1 million tons, achieved more than a decade ago in the year 2005-06. Coal accounts for the majority of freight basket, with iron ore being a distant second. In FY22, railways transported over 650 million tons of coal as compared to 542 million tons in FY21, showing a growth of 20%. The uptick in coal transport was mainly driven by increased power demand. After shortages were reported around last year and early this year, railways had ramped up transportation. Coal freight has increased over 32% between September 2021 and March 2022. Anil Kumar Lahoti, General Manager of Central Railway, has said the freight increase seen this year is due to several business development initiatives, including the infrastructure upgrade on Central Railway. One of the highlights of this year's freight business is the increase in automobile loading, as 2007-12 rakes have been loaded till September this year, higher by over 70% when compared with the same period of last year. Automobiles' share in Railways' freight basket is very less when compared with the overall volumes. However, Railways has taken several initiatives to boost its share. It had liberalized its Automobile Freight Train Operator or AFTO policy in 2018 with the aim of attracting more interest from automobile companies. Under the revised policy, registration fee for AFTO was reduced by 40% to 3 crore rupees, along with relaxations under the minimum procurement policy. In line with this, there has been a steady rise in automobile traffic in the past few years. Approximate estimates would put automobile freight at close to 4.6 lakh units so far this fiscal year. The government is devising more strategies to fuel auto traffic. To accommodate SUV cars, a new design of auto carrier wagons is under finalization. To facilitate loading and unloading of automobiles, design modification to the existing NMG wagons is also under execution. Automakers are now planning to increase the distribution of vehicles through rail transport by up to 30% by 2027. This share was 16% in FY22. With railways being a cleaner source of transport, higher freight through it contributes to overall reduction of carbon footprint. The speeds of freight trains have also increased over the years thanks to a plan called Mission Raftar. From FY17 to FY21, the average speed of freight trains has increased from 23.7 km per hour to 41.2 km per hour. Indian Railways is constructing more than 3,000 kilometers of dedicated freight corridor, which would enable freight trains to run at a speed of 100 km per hour. Railways is also looking to diversify its freight basket to reduce dependence on coal. It is planning to ferry more automobiles, consumer goods, and white goods like air conditioners, refrigerators, etc. The diversification plan is steady, as the balance and other goods segment reported a growth of 14% in FY22 over previous fiscal, with an incremental load of 15 million tons. However, the shift might take some time. The loading of miscellaneous goods grew by 14% in September this year. Despite the steady growth this fiscal, the volumes are still short of the ambitious target of loading 1,700 million tons, which is higher than the budget estimates. According to a Business Standard report, there is a need to achieve close to 150 million tons in the coming months to meet the target. The government is also planning to acquire 30,000 wagons in the current year.
One of the reasons is certain commodities have done extremely well during the first 6 months of this year, particularly in the case of coal, which has gone up from 47 million tons in the first 6 months of last year to 54 million tons this year. There has also been a good increment in the case of cement, in the case of fertilizers, in the case of container traffic, and so on. This has been possible because there is demand for this traffic, and the railways has sort of improved on a number of operating parameters. That is, they have now become very conscious of improving speeds, of improving the availability of wagons. So general mobility has gone up. And if you look at the average lead of traffic, that is the length of haul, that has also undergone a substantial increase, which has all cumulatively resulted in better tonnage, better net ton kilometers, and a substantial increase in revenue.
Despite the gains in recent past, Railways' share in overall freight traffic is still low at 26 to 27%, while the majority of the freight is through road transport. The government has designed a national railways plan under which it seeks to increase the share of railways to 40 to 45%. According to some estimates, railways would need to account for over 3,600 million tons in 2031 to meet its model freight share targets. It is also expecting an incremental revenue of at least 30,000 crore rupees per annum from freight services once 300 Gati Shakti cargo terminals are operational in the next 5 years. Even if the economic activity sustains at higher levels and there is an increase in demand for commodities, there are still challenges like last mile connectivity, transit times, and issues with terminals.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.